Welcome to the Create Today podcast. This show is all about how you can create the life you want one day at a time, no matter what shit you've been through. And I'm your host, Karen Stanley, and my beautiful guest is Tabitha Holmes. I'm so excited she's here. She is a fashion designer and an amazing one, and we're going to learn all about all of the challenges and adventures you've been on the last few years.
Adventures.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. I'm going to move this a little closer, just in case. There.
I like how you call it adventures.
It's
kind of like the same way that I don't call it stress, I call it excitement.
It's excitement. It feels like the same thing. So let's just call it excitement. So true.
Yeah. And it's so hard when you have so much stress too, and then you're excited about something. You're like, wait, am I stressed?
Right, which one is it?
Tell.
Which one is it? I know. I'm excited about going on vacation, getting out of here.
Yeah, right? It's too hot.
Yeah, I know. We just got back from Coronado, and it was so hard to come back.
I bet.
It was so beautiful over there.
Yeah.
So Tabitha, let's start at the very beginning, and let's inspire some people to chase their dreams, because the fashion world has got to be one of the toughest
It is hard.
industries.
I've watched businesses make it and break it.
Really?
And even my own journey has been transitional to find my niche and where I fit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Why is it? What exactly makes fashion industry so difficult or so challenging?
competition.
There's so much competition.
So much competition.
Wow. It seems like there's so many shoppers. How can it be too much competition?
Well, trying to get people's attention.
Yeah.
And get them to see you and your product and everything that you're doing. Plus, it takes a lot of grit to do what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of designers who love to design, and they're beautifully talented. But if you don't put the business aspect behind it, if they don't understand that numbers and how to get the sales and marketing, it doesn't go where it needs to go.
Right.
The partnerships that I've seen have been synergetic in making the brands work. So if you've got both aspects to it, it helps a lot.
And you have to get it in front of the right people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to want it and you have to work for it. You can't just love to design and expect people to come to you. You have to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and share your story and share your product and your dreams. And that's hard for some people. That's been hard for me along my journey. So
You had to learn how to do that.
yeah.
Well, and you have to do that year after year, week after week after week, year after year after year, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, right?
And be okay with, essentially being naked in front of your audience, saying, "Hey, this is me. Accept me?" Question mark?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Check yes or no.
Yes.
Pass the note
Please
back
love
to me. Wow. Okay. So start at the very beginning. How did you always want to be a fashion designer? Do you love clothes? What happened? How? What
I
happened?
had no idea that job existed.
No way.
Obviously pre-internet and,
Yeah.
pre-Instagram.
Yeah, we're still
That's why
29. Don't worry about it.
As I recall, you are correct. But when I was in high school, I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll go to medical field or law school. That was my direction.
Really?
And I was sitting down with my high school counselor, and she's like, well, what do you like to do? I was like, I love making stuff. I love sewing. I love crafting. I make my own patterns. I
Really?
had no idea it was a job. No, and I, none. She's like, well, there's a school in LA called FIDM, Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. And would you be interested? I was like, well, yeah, that sounds way better than cutting people open. But
Same. Yeah.
I still wouldn't have mind cutting people open.
I would have done it.
Plus, yeah, it fascinates me. I love surgeries. But,
Oh my gosh.
so I was like, I love California. Done.
Right.
So I ended up going and getting into their 2-year program. I took a year in San Diego and a year in LA. And then my last semester, before I was going to graduate, they had mock interviews in one of my classes to prepare us for jobs and stuff. And they had real companies come in. So I was interviewed by guests. And they asked me, well, what do you like to do? Do you like the fashion or the... I was like, well, I like both. I like making it, the idea of what to make, but I also like putting it together.
Because you actually
so-
love sewing. I think you're the only person I know that loves sewing.
Well, I don't love it most days, but I love the technical aspect of it, the patterns, but I do love sewing because I have to. But so they hired me because that's not a huge field. There's a lot of competition to be designers, but if you go into the technical field, it's a little less competition. And so that's where I started. They hired me off those mock interviews.
Wow.
So I
to do what? What was your job?
spec writer. at guests.
Spec writer? What does that mean?
Basically, I drew the pictures for the companies overseas. So I would tell them the construction in order to put it together.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So like I used Adobe Illustrator, and I still do that with my job.
Wow. So, where is the guest office? Was it in LA?
Yeah, downtown LA.
Awesome. My brother lived there for a long time. That was lots of gunshots.
Yeah, it's a little rough down there these days.
Yeah.
I went back a few weeks ago because work.
Yeah.
But it can get a little rough down there, but
yeah. But it was
wasn't
cool.
too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a really cool
I love the
condo
sample
way up
sales.
there. Yeah. Oh, I haven't been there.
Oh my gosh.
I want that.
Every year they get rid of like their samples and stuff, and so you get to go like most people stand in line, but if you're an employee, you go straight in, you get stuff for like 10, 15 bucks. And
Oh, come on.
when I was at Quicksilver, when they were having their sample sales, I would get like Roxy shoes for $5, and
Oh, come
it
on.
was real fun.
See, inside scoop we need to know about.
I know, right?
We don't know this.
But like people would camp out overnight and be there like 4:00 in the morning, like all night just waiting, and you
They're
buy
selling
clothes
it.
by the pound.
Yeah, they're
So-
turning around and they're selling it for sure.
Yeah, but I just walked in, so it's great.
Awesome. That's so cool.
But, so I started to guess, and then my boss from there left, and she poached me to Lucky Brand Jeans, and I was at Quicksilver Roxy, Modern Amusement when I lived in California.
Mm-hmm.
I got 6 promotions in 6 years.
Wow.
Ended up getting married
Oh, woo.
and moving to Huntington Beach out of LA.
Oh,
Worked for Quicksilver Roxy.
I love Huntington.
I had my son. I was still working.
How old is he now?
He is 15.
Oh,
and,
wow.
like, a string bean.
Oh.
6'1", and I love him so much.
I know.
So it's a little complicated there because I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-mm.
I always wanted to work. I wanted to have my career.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Why? Because, we grew up traditionally, super Christian family and super Christian tradition, and that was not the norm.
No, but my dad also kind of raised me like a boy. So.
Really?
Yeah, he's kind of awesome. He always told me, like, you can do anything you set your mind to.
Wow.
And of course, I only ever did the things that I knew I could do.
Yeah.
So obvious.
And then you ended up being awesome at them.
But I love that my dad always believed in me that
Yeah.
much. Like, not everybody has that. And
No.
just like, he still believes in me and still supports me this day and just has so much faith in what I do. And it's humbling,
That's incredible.
especially on the days I fall down. And I mean, you'll hear my story. He still supports me no matter what.
We're going to get to the falling
So,
down
Yeah.
pretty soon. Okay. So you
I'm
had
already
your
to that point in
son.
the story.
Oh, are we? Because you brought it up. You said, I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Did somebody else want you to be a stay-at-home mom?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, my marriage was difficult. It was not a good marriage. And there were some really inappropriate things that happened to me in that marriage. And I don't really like to get into the details because I don't like to relive the trauma.
You don't need to.
So I prayed about it because I'm still a very spiritual person. And I was like, Lord, what do I do? Because I don't know what to do. And biggest impression, quit your job.
Really?
That doesn't make sense. I was like, what? Why?
What?
But I did.
That was clear.
So clear it wasn't even funny.
Oh, weird.
And I'm grateful every day because of it. Because we ended up moving to Utah, Pleasant Grove area to start. And I was a stay-at-home mom for the first time. And I cherish those moments with my son so much. And I gave up my career to try and like save my marriage and my family and be the perfect Christian wife I was supposed to be in spite of obvious abuses. And it was hard. It was hard, humbling. And, I spent a lot of my days in prayer and asking. And we ended up moving to Salt Lake. No, before that, we were still in Pleasant Grove. And something happened. And I called my dad and I told him. And I had tried to tell him previously, but how do you get those words out?
I don't know. It's so hard.
You can't.
No.
And so he flew up, picked me up, and we drove back home. And so it was me, my son, and my dad. Drove all the way home to Arizona, because that's where I'm from.
Yeah. Right down the street.
Yeah. So conversations happened. Apologies happened. I was like, okay, I'll try again.
Okay.
It was really, really hard, but I felt impressed, like, you need to try again.
Okay.
Okay, fine. I'm a very, like, impressionistic. Like, if I feel like it's meant to be, there's no convincing me otherwise, because
Right.
I just know deep down in my soul.
There's got to be a reason.
That intuition that we have, like, the more I ignore it, the more I get myself into trouble. But when you have faith and you follow, like, that gut feeling, that intuition, you just, even though sometimes that path is hard, it just works out for me.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I think it was a pastor at a Christian church I went to for a while, and he said, prayer is you talking to God, and intuition is God talking to you. And I totally believe that 100%.
I love that.
Because I
Might
believe,
write
write
that down.
it down. It's like I wrote it down. I've been saying it ever since. That intuition is God answering your prayers. And it's like, you're not going to come as words, but sometimes it is as clear as words. But I love it. So yeah, you're really in tune.
I ended up going back.
Yeah.
And getting pregnant with my son, my second son. And that wasn't a planned pregnancy for me.
Mm-hmm. It was a little. Were they really close together, or
2 years apart?
It was too much for what you're trying to work on your marriage.
Yeah, and my dad gave me a blessing, which is something we do in our church. And he said things that, like, he couldn't have even known about, because I was feeling really guilty about bringing another tiny human into this situation, and just I was really having a hard pregnancy. But my beautiful baby boy Alex was born, and that boy has brought so much brightness to my life, and the joy that he is, and who he is to people. He's full of service. He's full of kindness. He is full of softness, and just like, out of all my children, he is the most nurturing. And I might get emotional.
Me too.
I don't regret growing back one day because of how amazing that kid is. And I was blessed with far more than I feel like I deserved in that child, in all my children.
Seriously, but
But
God was like, nope, you need him.
In that situation, like, something that was said to me that always sticks out is people are excited on both sides for this boy to be.
Oh, I love that.
I was like, well, okay then.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had my son, and my ex had gone through a lot of jobs and lost another one, and we had nowhere to go.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, we're going home.
Yeah.
So my parents let me move in, and then my ex was up with shenanigans again. So 3 weeks later, I finally felt safe enough to be like, kick him out and be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I had prayed for years to be like, is it time? Is it
What do I
time?
do?
Like,
What do I do? When? Yeah.
And I was just like, stay. And I'm like, why? I never understood it. But now I have Alex, and I completely understand it.
Totally.
I was home.
Yeah.
I was home.
Yeah.
I needed to be home.
Yeah.
And have my boys. And be around my family. And I finally got the answer. It's time.
That was time. And you knew it.
And I knew before I had gone to San Diego for the weekend with my cousin just to, like, take a break. I knew before I was going that, like, I'd come home and there'd be issues, and I just knew it was going to happen. So by the time I got home, I was like, yep, I saw that coming. Yeah. And just moved on with my life.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, I'm living at my parents' house. I gave up my career in California because it's not like my industry is all over the world either.
No.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to freelance then. I'll make up my own job.
There you go.
So I started freelance patterning.
How do you get a freelance patterning job?
You advertise and be like, hey, I make patterns. But there wasn't hardly anyone in the Valley who did what I did. Plus, I don't want to be, like, arrogant, but, like, I'm good at what I do.
Obviously.
So, I mean, I have a lot of experience, another 10 years under my belt since this point. But,
Yeah.
I'm good at what I do. I like it. I have no other social skills, so it just makes up for all what I'm lacking. So I just understand.
I don't believe that. But.
So I started doing that on paper and with paper and pencil out of my family's house, making patterns for fashion designers.
So they draw the design, like the sketches we see, like on the.
So they're the creative part.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm
then
the brain part.
How do we make it?
Wow. I make all the pieces that you cut out to sew together. I make it into different sizes, which is called grading.
Wow.
All the construction, I do the proper construction, and, you know, with my years of experience,
you already knew all that
just
stuff.
make it up then. This is what I'm doing. Yeah. And so then after that, I ended up meeting my second husband. And we were really happy for a while. And we had our daughter, Lily.
Aww.
And she is my beautiful baby girl. I always have known, like, when my kids are coming and what gender they are.
You already knew.
I always, it's a weird thing that I have. And I'm usually never wrong about people's babies.
No way.
Yeah, I've only been confused once, and that's because my sister-in-law was having a boy and a girl.
No.
So I was
and
like,
nobody knew it.
I was like, I can't tell what you're having. And it was driving me crazy. And then I was like, I bet she's having twins.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was funny. Anyways, so my baby girl came, and I always knew, like, I'm going to have a girl, and then I'm going to have another boy. And I was 4 months pregnant with her, and I was laying, like, had gone for the weekend, and this little boy's voice popped in my head, like, don't forget about me, Mom. So, like, and mind you, I'm just doing freelance or whatever, and it's a little bit of a sensitive subject, but my ex-husband, his best friend, committed suicide. And so what happened with my second husband is his mental health issue triggered. And since then, he's been diagnosed with bipolar and borderline and a few other things. And so it got very difficult. Raising my children, taking care of my kids, and just trying to survive. So it got to a point where I was like, I can't anymore. I can't anymore. And it confused me because I'm like, but I have another little boy on the road. Like, what? I have another little boy.
Crazy.
Where is he? So I ended up getting divorced and having another relationship in there. And then I gave my second husband a second chance, which I didn't really see coming, but, like, I just knew it was going to happen. And like 2 weeks later, I was pregnant with my son, not intentionally.
Wow.
And then
Was he
same thing
doing
happened.
better?
He was on meds, but
So
but
hard.
still,
It's so hard.
then he made choices that really affected our relationship, and I'm not going to drag his dirty laundry out, but it was really hard things that he put me through, including hospital stays and things like that. So,
so sorry.
But I have my son. But the problem is like having that faith and having that intuition of this is going to happen, everything's going to be great. I believe, like, you just knowing, like, oh, this is meant to happen. I made the assumption that everything was going to be okay.
Right.
Like, my family's back together.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you introduce other things into a relationship that shouldn't be there, and what do you do?
It is confusing because I think we're raised on a lot of levels, the Disney culture that says it always ends the movie at that they lived happily ever
Sure
after.
does.
Like 9 million times.
Where's my castle and my prince?
And you're fine. You never see anything after that. And I thought you just you fall in love and then everything's going to be fine. Like,
And I always made the assumption that people thought like I did, like, oh, this is my relationship. I do what I need to do. Done.
Yeah. No, we stay together forever and we love each other and we cherish each other and we trust. No.
Why is that hard?
What's happening? What's happening right now? Yeah, it is confusing.
So that was a really big blow to my faith and my sanity. And up until this point, I had been doing freelance for different clients and just kind of making a name for myself. I had started my own clothing line.
Oh, you did?
And it was starting to get some traction then.
What did you start with?
I did men's and women's contemporary.
Oh, cool.
And I did this, I did it for like a year or two before the first divorce to my second husband. And, but then getting divorced, single mom, I couldn't keep it up. Like, I was trying to raise 3 kids and run my business. Like, I couldn't do it. And then I realized I make more money doing this for other people.
Wow.
So that's what I started doing. I started freelancing again and doing things out of my dining room. And I was doing that when I married my second ex the second time. I know, like, my career has been actually pretty on point, but my personal life, but
it does
I also needed
kind
boundaries.
of seem like it's maybe one or the other. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
I also
not.
lacked personal boundaries.
Yeah.
I allowed myself to be treated that way.
Yeah.
And that was the big problem with me.
Yeah.
I was a fixer. I wanted to make everything better without having that self-worth.
Yeah.
I think nothing in life can come to you until you love yourself, you have that self-worth, and you stand up for what you believe in, and you have expectations of what you allow and what you don't. I think that's what I was lacking, and it took me a while to learn those boundaries.
It's so true. I talk about it a lot. I wrote a book about how to attract the right mate. And so that is all what it's all about, to believe that you deserve to be treated like a queen. Otherwise you won't be, and you never will be.
Yeah. But you have to treat yourself that way first.
Have to do it first.
And I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah. Took me a few decades too.
I learned the hard way.
Like 4 decades. I met John when I was almost 40.
So that was my life up until that point. Where I'm just like, but like the second divorce from him, like I was left with a 9-month-old baby, no car. I had sold it to pay the bills.
Great.
No job, just my freelance that I was doing out of the dining room.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, that was a really hard time for me. And just, I've been through other things like custody issues and just like.
Yeah, it doesn't end with the divorce.
No,
always some kind of
it's
battles.
always something like your ex fighting you over like paying the very least child support. Like, why do you keep fighting me on that? You made twice what I did and you pay less than $100. I don't understand. Why are you fighting me?
Yeah.
It's just, anyways.
P.S. If you want to, public service announcement, if you want to pay less child support, you also can just spend more time with your children. Just FYI.
Weird.
There is one way to lower your child support. I think most people get that memo.
Yeah, and I mean, even with some of my children, I have 50-50, but they're with me a lot. They like to be at my house. Yeah. I'm never going to say no.
Never. I'll never say no.
Of course I want you at my house.
I hope my kids always want to come to my house. Yeah. Always for the rest of their lives.
But I also want them to have a healthy relationship with their parent. Of
course.
And even if I don't, even if I was raked through the mud, like I want them to have that wholeness and security within themselves, but learn those personal boundaries and not put up with the things that I did either.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're learning that by example. I don't even know.
Oh, they're learning all kinds of things. They'll be just fine. Yeah. How old is your youngest?
He is almost 4 now.
Oh, this is only 4 years ago. Oh, boy. Oh, honey. Sorry.
It's okay.
But you have a 4-year-old baby? And
I know.
I would give anything to have one day with my kids as 4-year-olds again.
I
would give anything
so much. Yeah. Like, he is hilarious, and he is snuggly, and none of my other kids were snuggly. They were like, "Get off me, Mom." I'm like, "This one snuggles me."
Yes.
And like a little bit like obsessively so. So sometimes you're like, I'm the one suffocating, but I just. Oh, he's got these bright blue eyes. He's got his daddy's eyes and his dark hair, and he's just like the cutest little thing I've ever seen.
Get out, I'm sure.
And his laugh. Anyways, all my kids are blessings, and I love them all very, very much.
I wish I would have had more.
But it's been a rough journey.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like the universe keeps throwing things at you that you have to learn. And that's what I needed. I needed to learn my self-worth, what I was willing to accept and what I wasn't. Because once I learned those things, it's been a lot better for me, healing-wise. It's been better for me, career-wise. It's been pretty amazing, actually.
Makes you a better mom, too.
Oh, far better, because you appreciate those minutes with your kids. And you hate having to be like, I have to work. It's the worst feeling. And it's just like you make those moments more genuine, more special, more like, okay, yeah, I have to work, but how can we still spend time together? How can we still, have our family togetherness time and talk to one another?
Schedule it in and make it a priority, but able to, this is okay, and work will be fine. And then when you're at work, family will be fine. It's just like learning how to. I love that. No worries. We can edit anything out at any time.
Because I just totally burped.
Every time I have to burp, I'm like, it's silent, but did that hear that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was like, that one was from deep. So
As soon as you leave, I'm going to fast forward it right to this point. See how loud it is. Just kidding. So you built your entire company as it is today in little over 3 years. Is that what you're telling me? Oh,
well,
my gosh.
I was freelancing for a little bit. And I was still doing it out of my house. So, I mean, technically, I've had a business since 2014.
Okay.
But I was just doing it out of my house. But it got to the point where I had 13 industrial machines wrapping around my dining room and down my front hallway.
Are you serious?
And so I was like, I can't keep doing this. And I was working at one of my clients' place. They hired me for a little bit, but I was trying to do both at the same time. And so my baby was suffering. Yeah. Like I would take him to daycare for 12 hours a day. And I'm just like, I would rather take a chance on myself and have less money than my son continue to suffer. And the minute I quit my job and started spending more time with him, it got so much better for him. Like so much better for him. And it's just like, it goes back to the days of like, those moments with our babies are so precious. And even though like I quit the career, my career, like that meant everything to me, I wouldn't take it back. No, not for those moments with my son and my second son, like my little buddy, spending those days together.
Best.
Absolute best.
I was just thinking about that, how hard it is, how difficult it is to be a stay-at-home mom. I was never a stay-at-home mom, but I was literally thinking about how difficult it is and how, like, I think my first son, I had, whatever it is, 8-10 weeks off, and that was it, you know, and I was, like, so overwhelmed, and I was this, and then, but then you look back, you're like the most treasured, the specialist moments of your life also seem to be hard at the time, but then you look back and you go, oh, man, that was the best.
Like just rocking him in that rocking chair, which I refuse to get rid of, or the baby bassinet that I refuse to get rid of. My grandbabies are going in that.
Oh,
it's an antique
so
wicker one.
Smart.
I'm like,
I wish I would have kept
it. Well, it's an
stuff.
antique wicker one. That's not going anywhere.
No, don't ever get rid of that. Where did you get it?
My friend, when I lived in Huntington, she had twins, and it got, somebody had given it to her from an aunt who owned an antique store, and she's like, you want this? You're having a baby. I was like, yeah, I do.
Yes.
Sure do.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's the cutest little thing now. Yeah. Anyways, so I had 13 machines, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. No, I can't. So I opened up my own shop officially, downtown Main Street in Mesa.
So cool.
And I was in that building for a year and grew out.
No way.
I'm in my second location, and we've been there 6 months, and I'm already looking for a new one. So
no way.
in the last 4 months, I've quadrupled my staff. So I've got 18 employees now.
Unbelievable.
It still tries to kill me every day. I mean, and
hasn't succeeded yet.
No, I'm still kicking. But based on like, I would never have been able to do this if I hadn't had the strength from the other things. I don't get stressed.
Wow.
Like, I mean, sometimes I'd get stressed and anxious, but like, it's so rare. Like nothing can get me like, I'm like, I've been through way worse than this. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Do you think
the building's on fire? I'm fine.
Because of so much adversity at home with your marriages that you feel like the work stress is really not that big of a deal? I mean, is that what you're comparing it to?
Anything in life is not that big a deal.
So much hell.
Because I'm just like, but I've also been through so much heaven. And having that in those moments of darkness for me, because I'm a spiritual person.
Yeah, me too.
Having that in those moments of darkness bring me peace, just knowing like this is only temporary. So I'm going to enjoy it while I can. I'll do my best. I don't have to, and yesterday I had an epiphany. I don't have to fight for anything anymore. I just have to work hard for what I want. Yeah. I've always had like, because I've been struggling like as a single mom for so long and just like trying to like survive, and I've been in survival mode. I'm used to just fighting every day just for survival. And like, I do have a little bit of ADD, so it just makes that focus even harder when you're overwhelmed. And I had an epiphany yesterday. Like, I don't have to fight anymore. I'm just going to work hard, do my best, plan better. I'm not going to get overwhelmed. It's fine. We'll figure it out.
Right.
And then it's made everything just so okay.
Wow.
It doesn't, like, I don't get irritated by people anymore. I don't get anxious when my ex emails me, even though there's trauma there. I've gotten through all of that healing. I don't have triggers anymore, which is really nice because, you know, when you go through trauma, you get triggers.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have those anymore. And I don't even get like the little anxious feeling if I have to like interact or anything. It's just all calm because I know there's a power higher in me and this is only temporary.
Yeah.
And I continue to get taken care of when I ask for it. So
it's beautiful.
My life is, I'm really grateful for the way that it's turned out. And I hope to, you know, share the wealth and pay it forward and just with anybody. I am really humbled with the success I've had lately, especially just with what's happening with, you know, I'm starting to partner with Phoenix Fashion Week and I've partnered with ASU and just, you know, all these people that keep coming to me and just by word of mouth because I've never marketed.
You don't have any marketing team at all?
Nope. I just hired a sales girl. She started this week because I keep on like finding leads of like new brands and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here, that's like 2 years worth of leads.
No way.
Here you go. No, we were swamped just by word of mouth. Wow. Which is great. Like, you know,
that's incredible.
We guarantee our work. So
yeah. What's your favorite thing about your job?
Helping someone see their dreams. Like, people were there for me. I had mentors to teach me. And just watching and helping support someone just live their dream and just like see their creation come to life is really awesome for me. And helping them get there, I just love it. And I mean, I give them all the same advice. Like, what are you going to do on the hard days? How are you going to survive those? What do you feel like, and what are you going to do when you feel like you cannot pick yourself up off that floor? And some of them are just like, maybe we just stop. No, you get yourself up off that floor. There is no option of staying on that floor.
It's not going to be easy.
No, it's not. But remember, you don't have to fight for it. You just have to work for it and do your best. You know, do it right, do it smart. Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
That's been my mantra. Work smarter, not harder. And now I'm focusing on that rule where it's like 20% of what you do is 80% of your income. So focus on the 20%.
Yes.
I literally made a list with my assistant this morning because I have a couple hats at work. Clearly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have a couple positions open.
Yeah.
We've got some job postings I need filled so I don't go insane.
Right.
So I sat her down. I was like, what do I do all day? Okay, what should I be focusing on?
What's the most important thing?
Yeah. Because I'm like, I'm running a business. I'm the accountant. I'm the floor manager. I'm the quality control, you know.
Hire, fire, interviewer, everything.
Doing the best we can. But I have a great team. And, you know, they've been with me. A couple of them have been with me for a while. So.
Oh. And did most of them go to fashion school as well? I mean, do you typically hire people that have some training?
No.
You don't have to?
I mean, if they like sewing and they can pass the test, then why not?
Right.
Let me pay you to do that.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Craft time.
So most of your clients are still hiring you to do the the patterning for them. So they that's like most of your job. I mean, you have your own brand. I mean, you have your own line, right?
Yeah, I'll make stuff just because I'm bored. Like, okay, so just the other day I had a bunch of swimsuit fabric and I wanted to test out my new machine that I got because it's an elastic spaghetti maker. Her name is Frances. She is.
You name all of your sewing machines?
I do. She's the devil, but she loves me, only me. And I made bikinis.
I saw
like
those.
A string bikini, yeah, with matching men's Speedos.
They're so cute.
So I did I want to do a YouTube video. I did a tutorial, but I haven't had time to post it or anything like that. And I did it as a surprise for my boyfriend. So he was excited,
kind of
ish.
Did he say, do I have to wear Speedos now?
He just kind of looked at me and then he popped it on and we went to the pool.
What did he say?
He was like, for you, anything.
Oh, good boy. But he really didn't
all the crap was worth this boy.
He didn't really want to wear them.
No, he didn't. And now I posted him on the internet and I don't know how he feels about that, but
you didn't ask. Does he know he's on the internet?
He sure does because I tagged him in it on Facebook. So
I only follow you on Instagram, so I didn't even see that one. I'm immediately going to look right now.
I hid it from everybody.
Oh.
It's on my personal one because I was like, I'll at least just do it to the personal. He's like, my thighs are so white. He's
my
got like
gosh.
7 different colors. I counted. I'm like, farmer stand, farmer stand,
Yep.
farmer
Shorts.
stand.
Yeah.
I counted 7
1,
different colors.
2,
Like
3.
white Irish boy. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Nothing.
You know,
Like it's a bad thing to be white.
no, he's super supportive of what I do. And so the fact that he was willing to do that for me is pretty awesome.
That's so cute.
Oh.
But didn't you say it was a string bikini?
Oh, I have the bikini. He has this bikini.
So they are matching.
Oh, yeah. Hot pink, by the way. I made him a hot pink one. He looks adorable.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I can't
so
wait
tiny.
to see it.
I have them in all the rainbow colors.
But are you going to sell these? What are you going to do?
Oh, yeah,
with
they're
them?
on my website.
So you
It's
can
just
buy 'em.
because they were for practice and just for fun
Yeah.
and to take times, because sometimes I do time studies on like my own projects so
Yeah.
that I can give better costing to my clients.
Got it.
So that was one of those projects because I was just, why not? And I was like, I'm going to make Speedos. So now they're on my website.
It's hilarious.
I don't know how many I'll sell. I haven't really tried. I just put them up like
see.
a couple days ago.
They're
so
probably gone. You just don't
I
even
haven't
know.
even like marketed.
You don't even know they're sold out.
I don't deal with the website. It's my sales girl. That's her job.
Someone else. It's someone else's responsibility. Someone will tell me when they run out.
I just think they're awesome.
I do too. They're so cute. I only saw the bottoms. I didn't see the top because you only put the bottoms on Instagram.
Oh, the top.
You tell your social
the
media
whole
people
bikini
is on
right?
Instagram. I didn't see it.
Oh, it's probably on a different post. 'Cause I
Oh.
did the Speedo separate than the bikinis.
Oh damn! I missed it. Okay.
Don't worry. Do you and your husband need a match? I'm pretty sure you do.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, you tell me what you want and I will
Okay.
just send it to you.
Okay.
And then you take a picture and I'll be like, boom. Yeah. That'll be awesome.
I do that at every interview.
And you can be like, honey, look, we're twinsies.
Oh, we love the twinsing
Think
thing.
you could get a minute?
In the backyard, perhaps. in public, negative. We were making fun of all the Speedos at Coronado Island today. It was only 2. Literally 2. I said
And
they're
now
European.
There could be 3.
They're from Europe. Americans don't wear those.
No, they sure don't. When we went to the pool, it was really funny actually because he's like, I hope I don't see anybody. And my neighbor, like my next door neighbor, shows up and he's just like, oh my gosh.
But he gets a hall pass because he's dating a fashion designer. So like everybody knows.
You have no choice, baby.
He's so cute. I can't believe he did that. Yay.
Yeah,
Yay for cute boyfriends.
He's worth all the waiting.
All the hell you've been through.
He is
So sweet.
by far better than I deserve.
Oh,
Yeah,
so sweet.
he's a good man.
I don't believe the not deserving part, but
You know, it's funny, just like, you look at your history and you're like, does that define me? No, I know it doesn't. But do you feel, your feelings are hard to like decide what you are worthy of. And I know I'm like worthy of good love and boundaries and stuff like that. It's just like he goes over and beyond. And I'm just like, I feel like you're doing more for this relationship. You cook me food. I don't cook you food. Wow. But you cook me food. See, I'm winning.
that's so, yeah, I think
winning.
I'm up. It was a competition. I think you're winning, which means I'm winning.
Exactly.
No, that's beautiful. I feel the same way about my husband, so it is a beautiful thing. And it's like, I always want to tell people, like, no matter what you've been through, those things have a tendency to make you feel like you're broken or unworthy, or if you focus on whatever.
Guess
those
how many times I broke up with him?
3 times.
3 times.
Yeah.
Because he wanted more than I was ready for. I was like, I'm not ready.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Kept coming back.
Then how long did each breakup last?
A couple months. That's it. I mean, we started 2 years ago in April-ish. But like, if we prorate it, we've been together like 23 months. So it's like, it never lasts very long.
Yeah.
I miss him and
Yeah, a couple weeks. You're like,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm difficult, I know.
You're still coming back.
Fine.
All right, fine.
But it's so funny. Like the first time I met him, we met on Bumble, right?
No way.
So I met him at the bookstore. And we went and sat down and whatever. And I looked at him. I was like, in my head, I'm just like, we're going to help each other heal. I was like, well, that's interesting. I don't know you.
Did you say that, or are you just thinking it?
No, I thought it.
You didn't tell him that?
I did after. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Probably like, what?
He sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not amazing.
Yeah.
Again, we can do a lot of healing on ourselves, journaling and writing and reading and, and therapy. But we need other humans.
I totally agree.
Absolutely
I've
need
done all those
humans.
things. And I personally need visualization too.
Same.
And it wasn't until I pictured, like, I was like, okay, what does my heart look like? And it looked like a red heart with all these black veins going through it to me, you know? And I was like, well, how do they fix Japanese pottery? They fill it with gold.
Yeah,
So I kept thinking, like, okay, what things can fill up my gold? And just eventually and slowly and just like, there's still a little bit of black left, but, you know, we need that in our lives. So
it gives you that little spit and vinegar.
yeah, exactly. My sarcasm can't leave.
You cannot leave. You cannot not have be feisty, no matter what.
It just teaches us to be more gentle with those parts of ourselves.
I agree.
And other humans.
Yeah. That's beautiful. I've never had anybody tell me they visualized what their heart looked like.
Yeah, that was a changing point for me. Because I kept, you know, obviously getting on my knees and being like, how can I change this blockage for me? How can I change this blockage? And so I was sitting there just like, I was meditating one day and I was like, well, that's not a bad idea. Thanks for that. And that is what the pivot point for me was.
How long ago was that? Like right before you met boyfriend or right after?
This last time before I got back together with him.
Yeah.
Before I got together. And it's so funny. He had a dream about me, and we were like kissing in the back of a car, and two people were in the front looking at him and smiling. And we hadn't talked in months, mind you.
No way.
And I was missing him hard, and I put my profile back up on Bumble
No
so that he would see it. And he never saw it, but he called me the next day after his dream.
He never saw it.
Because I wasn't going to contact him, because I broke up with him again. And that's really rude to keep doing to someone.
Rude.
I'm the worst.
Oh, this is sweet.
You know, it's just like
you were having
when
a hard
the universe
time
knows
and not
you're ready.
You know,
it provides.
Boom. Yeah.
But taking care of ourselves first is the first step.
Yeah.
But never losing hope, because that was a really hard one for me. Losing hope was a really hard one for me.
So what are the things that helped you gain the hope and the faith back?
My friends.
Yeah.
Healing.
Yeah.
But more importantly, myself. And deciding that I wasn't going to give up. Because, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There were days I wanted to give up. And it got really, really hard. But you have to make that decision to want more and say, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still trying.
Still here. What do I do?
Don't forget about me.
Yeah.
And being there for your tiny humans and knowing, like, you know,
They need you.
they need me and they need me healthy and whole.
And you
Because I need to teach them so they don't go through the things that I did. That's like, that's one of my big, like, sticklers in life. Is like, let me teach you what not to do.
I know. I think that's true of every parent.
Yeah.
I don't know if we succeed most of the time, but we do want to help our kids navigate not making the same mistakes as we did, and make sure they love themselves right now, and
creating that emotional space.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're going to go through life and they're going to learn things. And even when they have hard days, I don't make it better. I don't make it better because I ask them, well, what do you think about that? How do you feel about that situation? If that's something you did, what do you think you could have done better? Why don't you like what they did to you?
Like, let's talk about it. How they make you feel.
Exactly. So that it's just like, it's more of a learning growth process for them instead of, oh, they're crazy. They don't know what they're talking about. You know, I don't take that approach with them. I just say, take my internal approach of, like, how you respond to other people and the outside, like, bantering and the badgering of yourself, like, show them how to do that on a level for themselves.
How to work it all out.
I've got some pretty awesome kids that, like my first one, man, he is in tune with just all that. So
yeah. Well, you helped them do that, obviously.
I think some of it was born too.
Some of it, you know, they come out that way.
Yeah.
You know, with their intuition and their gifts, obviously. But I don't know if anybody's necessarily born with emotional intelligence and just how to just work out all of the things, because you couldn't be prepared for whatever it is that's going to happen to you, until it happens to you.
Exactly.
So it's so great that they have you to lead them through. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Let's talk about the feelings. Don't hold them inside, you know.
But it hasn't always been like that, because there were days I was completely broken. But the thought of them got me off that floor. Like, I have to be strong for them. I have to be their mom. They're the reason I survived.
Right. I believe that. I believe it.
But I'm the reason I survived too, because I'm important too.
Amen. I love it. Wow.
Interesting life.
So much. I know. Wow.
I didn't even cover half of it. I kind of skipped over some parts. But there's some parts I just don't want to relive. But
No
they were
need to.
really hard.
Yeah. Been through
And just you know what's the most hard about moments like those is when you know it wasn't your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You are suffering right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in so much pain. And you didn't cause it.
Mm-mm.
You had nothing to do with it.
Mm-mm.
And you were trying your best. And you were trying to be kind and loving and do what was right. And you're still going through this pain. Those were the hardest moments.
Mm. I bet. Yeah. So much trauma. What would you say? I mean, you've already given so much advice, and I appreciate you so much. But it's not, unfortunately, rare. It's so prevalent, and it's so sad. If somebody is experiencing some abuse in their relationship, what would you tell them?
It starts with you.
Yeah.
First of all, break the cycle.
Mm.
Your babies, they don't need that.
Mm-mm.
Teach them better.
Mm-hmm.
I teach my boys how to treat women.
Right.
Second of all, treat yourself better. Mm-hmm. Know what your worth is. Mm-hmm. Have your expectations and set those boundaries. Yeah. Boundaries, man.
Yeah.
Those personal boundaries of I love Mark, my boyfriend, he's my life partner for sure. Mm. So he pushed boundaries on me. He's like, that's not normal. But I had been living in that for so long, I didn't realize, oh, yeah, maybe I should have more boundaries here. Mm-hmm. It's just having the realization of is this for the good of everybody, or is this just me placating and just teaching my children? Mm-hmm. They learn by example and view it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? So, you have to want more for yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to want more for your life in order to get past it.
Yeah. Is that how you determine what a good boundary is, lack of a better word? Is that how you determine if it's if it's for the good of everyone involved? How would you tell somebody, okay, because I remember when I was going through my first divorce and I was in therapy, and she said something about boundaries, and I had no idea what she meant. I didn't even know I had no idea what she meant by that word. Yeah. No, literally, nobody's ever said that to me. I didn't know that I could make choices. I didn't know that I could say no. I didn't know that. I wasn't programmed that way.
Didn't know I could say no.
I didn't know. I didn't know that was an option. And so... But I love this. I'm talking to my one sister about this a lot the last couple of weeks. And so I'd love to hear your perspective. How do you determine a boundary versus selfishness?
First, gut feeling.
Yeah.
Second, if you're with a partner who doesn't like your boundary, they will make you feel selfish. Mm. But if you're this is authentic to myself. Mm-hmm. This is authentic to my children. It's you not lying to yourself. It's you not covering your own voice. Mm-hmm. There is an element of selfishness sometimes.
Right.
But knowing how you should be treated when it comes to love, kindness, if there's not love involved, I say that would be the separate.
Right.
If there's not love in your boundary, love for yourself, love for your children, then it can become selfish. If it's just well, I want this purse, and I expect to be treated that way. No, that's being selfish. Love. But if you're I want you to treat me with kindness, love, and respect when you talk to me, even when you're angry, that's a boundary. Mm-hmm. That is a very strong one that I have. I was you're mad at me, that's fine. But you're going to talk to me in the same tone.
Exactly.
Because I am triggered by tone. Well, I was. Mm-hmm. And I can't take it.
Yeah.
So
it's very difficult for me.
So if there's love in that request.
Mm. And I love that. What book is it? I think it's Getting the Love You Want. Did you read that book? Mm-mm. It's so good. They talk about making requests and kindness, and so that's just the easiest way to I would really like, or would you mind, would you be willing to? And then ask the request in that way, and then, but I love what you're saying. If there's love involved and if you are really honest.
Yeah, honest to yourself and
to yourself. Because sometimes we say things that we don't really mean. We're just trying to
I don't anymore.
Piece everybody out,
I would rather irritate someone and say what I mean 100% of the time than ever stifle my voice again.
Yeah. Because you have too much experience doing stifling.
Yeah, and Mark used to have issues with that, but I'm like, no, this is why we're better, because I'm being my 100% authentic self with you. Even if I'm being a brat that day.
Yeah.
Because I'm PMSing, whatever. Right. Like, take it. And no, not take it. But no, call me out on it. Be like, hey, I feel that you have a need, but can you be nice to me? Like, do the same. If you're okay with someone requesting that same boundary of you, then that's like a good sign, So
good. So how it's received. So if you're in a loving relationship, the receiver won't make you feel bad about it. They'll tell you the truth. Like, I think your hormones are a little...
Well, maybe not in that word. Just be like, do you need a snack? He's really good at saying that.
Or a nap.
Do you need are you hangry? Can I make you some food? Sure can. I knew I liked you.
Thank you. But I just think that, just as a side note, nobody talks about that. I mean, for a few days of every month, our hormones are going crazy. It's a real thing. It's not made up. We're not just
but it's up to
crazy
us to say, hey, I need a breather for a second.
Yeah, what do I need I feel very frustrated.
Yeah.
And just even saying that.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah. There's a reason why I'm more like my irritability is heightened. It is your hormones.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean you're a bitch, but if you can just say that.
Yeah. That's being truthful with yourself. That's being
that's
self-aware.
Telling the truth.
And that's saying, hey, and I have done that to Mark. I'm like, I am not very nice today. I'm having a hard day.
Yeah.
Please don't irritate me. Yes, I would like a snack.
Oh, he sounds awesome.
He really is.
Yeah. I remember being so surprised at that when I first got together with John. I was just like, I am so frustrated. I'm just so frustrated. I'm about to start my period in a couple days. And I hate that feeling. I don't want to be frustrated and irritated. And I don't want to, start crying. But this is what's happening. Yeah. And he was just like, it's okay.
Yeah. We just need an extra love and care that day. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. So go find a partner that makes you a snack.
Yeah. But find a partner who's working on their mental health.
Yeah.
Not just mental health, but like boundaries and personal, emotional intelligence. And find somebody who's doing that too. And I feel like that is so hard to find these days. I just don't feel like women have the expectations of men for those things. And we're starting to. You're seeing the generation, like women are like, I'm not going to get married if it doesn't like suit me and I have a good partner. That's fine. I don't need kids. I don't need, whatever you want to do.
Right.
But they're starting to have those expectations of men, which is really good, I think. Because if you find somebody who's not working on those things themselves, you're going to have that conflict.
Yep.
The best thing about Mark I love is that, I have expectations and he wasn't used to that in some cases. And there were times we got in a fight, but then the next day he'd come back and he'd be like, you know what, I thought it over. I'm so sorry. That blew my mind.
You're fine.
That blew my mind. I had never had someone just take such
Apologize.
Accountability before. It's the accountability, but we have to have that too.
We do. We have to say that.
We can sit and play the victim all we want. I could sit here and play the victim.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to take the victim. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to take vulnerable action about it. I'm going to, own my story and change where I need to change so that I can change the cycle and be better and make the world a better place.
You did change the cycle.
I hope so. I don't know.
Well, you broke your family cycle. So you and your family. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you did that. You should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you for saying that.
It's true. These young women who are dreaming of working at Gucci someday because they love fashion so much.
Oh yeah, my career. I remember that.
I was just like, this is all such good stuff. And I was just thinking about, if you really have that dream, where do you start? What advice would you give them?
do it. So, I mean, if that's your dream, then you spend time fine-tuning your talents.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need
Practice
to learn?
and practice.
You need to learn. You can't just show up one day and do it.
I have an idea for a purse.
Like playing the
Doesn't
piano.
work that way.
Right?
Right.
You can play the piano,
Right.
but if you don't practice, you don't learn new songs, you're not going to be a master pianist.
No, you're not.
So it's just same thing with focusing your talents, being a fashion designer, learning constructions. The best designers that I had worked with when I was in the technical field knew how to put a garment together because they knew, hey, I need a dart here. I want it to fit like this. This is what I need in it.
Right.
I need a dart. I need a zipper. This doesn't stretch. It's like, and that's part of what I put into that industrial machinist program for ASU I just wrote, that they're launching like this week, I think.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah. Well, it's been the last 6 months.
Oh, you've been working on it.
So I put those things in there because I'm like, if you want to have this as a career, you have to learn the fundamentals of these programs. So yeah, college is important. That education is important. That experience and volunteering your time and just absorbing all the knowledge you can in order to be better at your job, that's what makes you indispensable to a company. Then you're not sitting there struggling, going through a bunch of samples, wondering why it doesn't fit, because you don't know anything about darts or zippers or stretch or wovens versus knits or any of that.
How to design it based on.
But you've touched these things, you've worked with these things, you've sewn them together. You know, not everybody has to have the sewing skill, but as a designer, you really gotta have that knowledge base in how do you make a garment, how does it go together?
Right.
What is stitching called? You have like 1/4 inch double needle, lap seams, regular seams, clean finish hems. Like, learn all the vocabulary you can too. It's all out there on the internet.
So much stuff you can learn right now,
right?
No matter how old you are.
Absorb it.
Everybody has YouTube.
Be a sponge.
Yeah. And then practice and practice.
Yeah.
One of my clients was like, how long does it take to not get triggered and to get comfortable, saying my boundaries? And I said, well, depends on how long you practice, how often you practice. How long does it take to learn how to play the guitar? I use that exact same analogy that you just used with piano, which is so funny. This is why I'm bringing it up, because it's so funny you just said that. So, well, if it would take you probably a year if you practice every day for an hour, you'd be amazing at it. Yeah. But if you practice once a month for 10 minutes, you'll still suck in 12 months.
Yeah. You have to sit there and rewire your brain.
I know. Which,
like, I couldn't have my wrists grabbed. My kids couldn't even grab them.
Wow.
That took a lot of work. And just now it doesn't even bother me. I couldn't even grab my own wrist. But now, like, you sit there and every time you're like, nope, that's not a bad thing. They're just showing their love. They just want you to see something. You remap that neuron in your brain.
100%.
Over and
New
over
path,
and
new
over
path.
again.
Until it's trodden down. We used to go pick blackberries in the bush, and we would just take a piece of wood and we'd go and flatten it down. You can't get through it unless you make the pathway.
Yep.
And over and over and over, and you walk it over and over and over, like we see with every trail there is, right?
And nobody else can do it for you.
I know.
They can guide you through it.
I know.
But nobody else can do it for you.
No, they
can't. You
can't.
have to want it and sometimes force yourself.
Yeah. And you have to keep practicing. And then all of a sudden you won't even remember. It won't feel unfamiliar. It's just, I always say it's familiar is not forever. Yeah. Our brain always wants to go familiar, but that doesn't mean it always has to be that for the rest of your life.
We grow past it.
Yeah. By repetition.
Purpose. Our purpose here is to grow and develop, and that can be part of it.
Yeah, I love it. You're amazing. Thank you so much. I loved this conversation, and it's like I can't believe it's already been an hour.
Than you thought.
No, I love it because that's how we can learn. I want people to be inspired by, others that have been through so much crap and so much abuse and toxic relationships. Even though I didn't know any of that, I'm just so glad that you shared it. Thank you for being so vulnerable, because that's how we help people. If we keep it all into ourselves, then everybody who's going through that right now, think that they're alone and they don't know what to do and they don't know what could be on the other side of it.
Yeah, and it's been really hard for me to share my story and be open about it. So it's something I've kind of kept close. And I don't really talk about it anymore because I've grown past it. But I made the decision coming in here, like, I've been looking for service. now that I'm to a healthy point, I'm like, okay, now it's time for me to serve. And I was like, Tabitha, this is a good opportunity.
And then some crazy
That's a good opportunity.
stranger emails your sales department. She's like, like a month later, I'll send this to Tabitha.
And
that's awesome.
If I can help one person, it's not forever.
Right.
And it can get better. And I'm moving my life forward with this beautiful man I have and our beautiful children, and my career is okay, and my business is thriving, and I wouldn't have believed you a couple years ago.
Wouldn't have believed it.
Because
here you
hope
are.
was lost.
Yeah.
I was still on that floor, floundering around.
Yeah. Yeah. Now here you are. So I just want people to realize that, to see the vision on the other side of just keep practicing, keep learning, healing, rewiring your brain.
Stop thinking about your dreams. Yeah. I have big dreams. I'm not even there yet. But you know what? And I've felt like you shouldn't have those. Like, Tabitha, just be stuck where you are. No. Don't tell me what I can and cannot do. I can do anything I want. Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Daddy. Good dad.
But I tell
myself. Does he teach classes? He should. Dad classes.
I've been high-fiving myself in the mirror like Mel Robbins said.
Yes.
And I'm just like, it was so hard at first. I'm like, I feel so dumb. But now I'm like, you're awesome, girl.
So funny. Did you hear her interview on Ed Milet? Do you ever listen to Ed Milet's podcast?
No, but I saw a snippet of it, but I haven't seen it yet.
He's incredible. But she was on right when she released her book, and it was just so funny. The whole thing, and how she says that that whole thing came to happen. She's like, I'm standing naked in front of my window, and one of my left tit is hanging lower than my right. I looked in the mirror yesterday. I was like, oh, here we are, husband. Pretty sure this one's hanging lower.
Perfect.
He's like, no, that's not going to work out. He's like, I said, get out of here. I can't even tell. Who cares?
Love yourself no matter what.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
No matter which tit is hanging lower than the other.
Eventually, we're going to be like wrinkly little raisins.
Doesn't matter. I know. My cute little mom, she's 82. My dad's 85. They're just like, they're wrinkly. Who cares? They're adorbs. Yeah. And she had 11 children, by the way. I'm number 6.
Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all she did was have babies and nurse. I think she was nursing and or pregnant for 28 years.
Did she love it?
Of course.
Then
loved it.
More power to her.
Loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, I may have had one more if I had the opportunity, but
right? Oh, it's not really too late.
No. I'm 100 years old.
You're younger than me, so I'm 200.
Obviously.
Apparently, I'm 200.
No.
I know. I kind of wish I wasn't too tired for these shenanigans.
Yeah. But grandbabies, right?
Yeah.
I got a ways to go.
Not in any hurry. Yeah. Don't hurry it, but I can't. I'm very excited about that. My brother just texted me a little video of his grandchild, and she's so adorable, and they live in Utah. And she's like, this, just letting you know that this is what makes it all worth it. All the crap you go through with your kids, I think is what he said. He's just making a joke. And I was like, oh, I can't wait till the day that it's all worth it.
How's your oldest?
Give me a baby. 20. But not now.
No.
Not now.
No. My sister got married at 19,
8 years.
and I'm like, children? 25? Maybe? Maybe.
Wait. Or not. She's going to do whatever she's going to do anyway. Yeah. She's probably already pregnant. She just doesn't want to tell you.
Right? You're like, oh, well.
No one cares what we say.
Really? I'll take puppies until then, I guess.
Yeah? Do you have a lot of dogs?
I've got 2. I've got a Chihuahua and a Husky.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, the weirdest
match ever. What does the Husky do in Arizona? What's your Husky doing right now? Does he swim?
She stays inside.
She doesn't even go
all
outside.
day long.
Like, it's too hot.
She'll
poor
look
baby.
outside, but that's about it. She's like, I'm good. It's
I'm out.
in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The little one's actually worse than the Husky. The Husky will like run around outside.
What?
Mark has a golden retriever, and they love to like go crazy.
Oh yeah.
But Chihuahua's like, my princess paws can't go out there.
No way.
No.
I would think poor huskies, their hair is so thick.
Yeah.
Must be so hot.
Well, she molds and then like she's basically balding.
Oh.
Like, maybe her body is like, oh, I'm in Arizona. I shouldn't keep any of it.
Gone. Hair be gone.
Oh, it's the worst. And in my house, I'm just like vacuuming all day long.
No. Oh my gosh. I can't deal.
No.
I have to have the short haired dogs.
Yeah. I didn't know they shed. So
What?
that was awesome.
How did you not get that memo?
Whoops. I'd never had a dog that shed before.
Well, I haven't either, but I knew that about huskies.
My son wanted a husky, and we were going through a hard time. Single mom,
Yep.
giant dog.
I know.
Feel
I know.
safer.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, and the chihuahua will bite your face off, but the husky will be
It's
like,
just 2 pounds.
love me.
You're vicious husky.
She looks scary, though. Like,
Yeah.
you don't mess with her.
Oh, they're beautiful. No one will mess with them, but it's just funny.
She's got bright ice blue eyes. She will stare deep into your soul until you give her your dinner off the table.
Anything, whatever she wants. And she doesn't blink. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. This is so fun. So tell people how to find you. They want to buy a Speedo, a hot pink Speedo. Yes, they do.
It's houseofholmes.com. Don't forget
Awesome.
the L, like Sherlock.
Yes,
A lot of people do.
SherlockHolmes.com.
But yeah, houseofholmes.com. And our Instagram is like hofh.houseofholmes.com.
That's right. It was a long one, I remember, but
Yeah.
it's so fun.
Because House of Holmes was taken.
What?
I know.
By who?
I don't know.
You didn't look it up?
No, it's
Wondering what they do.
Like,
Well, it's probably just a family that's last name is Holmes.
So I just
maybe.
use H of H sometimes, but then people pronounce it Huff. I'm like, well, that was a bad idea. It's fine.
Since when is H and F? Well, I guess in laugh, GH is laugh.
It makes me laugh.
It's really funny. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, man.
me.
You're amazing.
Your best friend.
I know. It's like, I'm going to get you're going to get your cell number. I'm going to text you all the time. Thank you, listeners and watchers, for being here and for supporting my show and being here and listening. God bless you. Just remember that you can create the life that you want and just take it one day at a time. God bless.